It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. St. Jude takes care of absolutely everything. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge.
St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude is uniquely positioned to advance the cures of pediatric cancer, I think better than any other institution in the world. The contributions make a big difference.
Donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
If you're looking to make extra income, if you're looking to pay off bills and plan for your retirement, then check out philsgang.com. Philsgang.com is an online educational service that informs you, coaches you, and guides you on how to invest in the stock market. Get daily advice to buy stocks, short stocks, and learn when to get out of your positions. Philsgang.com provides daily webinars, alerts, educational tutorials, and all material is archived. For more information, go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264.
The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicited buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money, money, money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money, 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 money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grandy.
Money's coming to me.
She's keeping them artificially low to get Obama retired. Watch what's going to happen afterwards. It's a very serious problem. And I think it's very political. I think she's very political. And to a certain extent, I think she should be ashamed of herself.
No, China comes over and they dump all their stuff. They devalue their currency so brilliantly. They just did it recently, and nobody thought they could do it again. They got away with it again.
You talk about flip-flop. Wow. Unbelievable. Welcome to Phil's Gang, coast to coast around the country, off the Wall Street Radio Network. I haven't seen anything like this. The flip-flopping is, what an incredible week. What an incredible week. Every day, there's another flip-flop. And if first of all, the market does not like uncertainty. And boy, it got plenty this week. First, on B. Remember when Trump criticized her for keeping rates so low? I just played the cut. Now he's saying, oh, she should keep the rates low. Oh, and he wants to keep her on as well. She's doing a good job. That's not what he said when he was out there campaigning. When he was out there campaigning, he criticized her. You heard him right there. But now, oh, no, we need to keep rates low. Oh, she's doing a fine job. We're going to keep her. China. Oh, he kept saying, they're manipulators. They're manipulators. I'm going to take care of it. You heard him. Now what's he say? No, they're not manipulators. Everything's fine. Wow. NATO. Boy, he went all over NATO. They're not paying their fair share. They're not doing enough to combat ISIS. Now he says NATO's fine. He's pleased with their progress. See, this is what the market doesn't like. Mr. Market does not like uncertainty. Then Aunt B. She has no clue. She is clueless. The economy's so far over her head. She's so smart, she's stupid. She doesn't have a bit of common sense. And when she spoke at the University of Michigan, she said, after years of easy money and accommodative policy, the economy is doing great again, meeting all her expectations. I told you yesterday, When she said that, I was stunned. I said, what expectations? They must be pretty low when the first quarter, 2017, will be the weakest quarter or economy since 1987 crash. What are you, nuts? Revenues. Government revenues suffering the biggest drop since 2008 crash because we don't have good jobs. You got 100 million people aren't working, and when they come get a job, it's a lousy bartending, waitress, service job. That's why we had the biggest drop in revenues. And she says, oh, things are good. And this was the fourth consecutive month of declines in revenues. The biggest drop since 2008. How about our deficits? Over the past year, the deficits increased 40% or $651 billion. 40%. Oh, but things are fine. Everything's meeting her expectations.
We've indicated that we think it's appropriate to gradually raise the federal funds rate toward a more neutral stance if the economy continues to perform in line with our expectations.
Expectations! Oh my God! Deficits! Over the past 12 months, 40%. You can't get an increase. You can't get any worse than that. A 40% increase. Consumer demand's falling off the cliff. Commercial loans are in a free fall. Especially loans to build hotels or healthcare centers or retail shopping or multiple family properties. Loans dropped by 39%. Unbelievable. Now, take the big U.S. banks. Now, more and more, they revealed again more evidence of a slowdown, especially in loan growth. We got the earnings reports today. So you take the highest interest rates combined with the uncertainty about what's going on, geopolitical, all around the world. It's going to hurt economic growth, no question. And therefore, the banks, their bottom lines are going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. And it's the banks, remember, that lead the stock market. The banks aren't lending. They're not lending. The banks are told not to lend by Obama. Trump's got to get the lending going. He's got to get this lending going again. Instead, the banks are making more money. Can you imagine? Wouldn't you love to be a bank? You borrow money at zero interest, and then you turn around and give it right back to the Federal Reserve, anywhere from 1.5% to 3%. You imagine you go borrow money free, zero, and just give it right back, even if it's 1.5%. The only people who can get money if you don't need money, the very wealthy, who have a lot of money at the bank, great credit, they just borrow their own money. The reason why the economy is, for 8 years, 1.8%, because the banks aren't lending. They're only lending to people who don't need to borrow. Small businesses are getting killed. They can't lend. They can't borrow for lines of credit to go buy machinery or go buy other equipment or go buy inventory. I have a friend in Sarasota who's got a great business. He can't get a line of credit. He has hardly any debt. This is all crazy stuff that's going on. Crazy. But this is good for gold. Gold is finally coming back. Although gold's been going up since December, nobody's been watching gold except for the gang. We've been watching gold. We've done really well with gold. If you remember, our gold mining stocks were up over 120% when we bought them in 2015, late 2015. Now we're starting to buy gold again, mining stocks. But all these, and what's really funny about the gold, first think about it. Last Friday, we had the weak job numbers. Remember? We were supposed to have 295,000 jobs. They came in at 98,000 jobs. Then we had the missile. They struck Syria with these missiles. Then Trump comes out and says he wants to keep rates low, and he's for a weak dollar. All good news for gold and gold mining stocks. And they've taken off. They're doing really well. In my gang, we're in gold. Gold's a great place to be right now. Gold mining stocks. And what also helped with gold are the jibber jabbers about how Russia and China are setting up a gold-based trading system that would be used by the other BRIC nations. And the jibber jabbers say this will lead to the dollar no longer being the reserve currency. Now, I think there's two chances of that, slim and none. But I love it. It helps our gold go up. I'm also grateful to Turkey. Did you hear the announcement with Turkey, the government? They said they're going to confiscate all the gold from their citizens. They're going to confiscate it. Isn't that amazing? So gold is the place to be. You just got to monitor it. Don't use a stockbroker. Do it yourself. Just use a chart and monitor. It's so easy to monitor. I designed the chart. When it's green, that means the institutions are buying. When it starts turning red, take your profits. It's not that hard. Hey, we'll be right back after this break here on Phil's Gang, 15 past the hour.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. philsgang.com. What are people saying?
I've been in the financial business myself about 24 years. Very much enjoy the software program for the charts.
I love the new MV charts on Phil's software, and I'm making profits using them.
Complete guidance and professional education for investors who want to succeed in the stock market.
I love your new MV1, making lots of profits.
I love the chart. You know, I'm limited with time. Real good as far as just looking at whatever ticker tells me right away.
I've always enjoyed Phil's straightforwardness and talk about what's really going on.
The new MV1 and MV2 charting software. I particularly like the pre- and post-market candlesticks.
You guys have always been great on the service side. I can't say enough about the service side.
Don't wait. Sign up for Phil's Gang today. Give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. philsgang.com. What are people saying?
Hi, this is Ron from Washington State, and I subscribe to the Phil's Gang MV2, and I just wanted to let Phil know that right after the election, I made a $7,000 profit using the MV2 on Wells Fargo stock.
Complete guidance and professional education for investors who want to succeed in the stock market.
I've been in the financial business myself about 24 years, and very much enjoy the software program for the charts.
I've been a long-time Phil subscriber, and I just want to recommend it to anybody out there. I think it's a wonderful tool and works very, very well.
Don't wait. For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. Hey gang, be sure to join Phil Grandy at Michael's on East in Sarasota on Wednesday, May 10th for an open discussion presented by Tampa's AM 860, The Answer, called Taking an Honest Look at the First 100 Days of the Trump Presidency. Phil will be joined by Mike Gallagher, Larry Elder, Captain Matt Bruce, and Bill Bunkley. The VIP reception starts at 5:30 and the main event is at 7 p.m. Again, that's Wednesday, May 10th at Michael's on East in Sarasota. For all ticket information, simply go to philsgang.com and click on the banner on the homepage. Hey gang, be sure to join Phil Grandy at Michael's on East in Sarasota on Wednesday, May 10th for an open discussion presented by Tampa's AM 860, The Answer, called Taking an Honest Look at the First 100 Days of the Trump Presidency. Phil will be joined by Mike Gallagher, Larry Elder, Captain Matt Bruce, and Bill Bunkley. The VIP reception starts at 5:30 and the main event is at 7 p.m. Again, that's Wednesday, May 10th at Michael's on East in Sarasota. For all ticket information, simply go to philsgang.com and click on the banner on the homepage. Phil's Gang offers one of the best collections of charts available on the internet. We built the Max Best software to have the best features, and so far, the early reviews have been great. So don't just be an investor, be a Max Investor with Phil's Gang Max Investor 1000 stock charts. For more information, simply go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. When St. Jude finds something that works well with a certain cancer, they share that with everybody. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge. We just have to worry about helping Chandler, and he's just my heart.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
philsgang.com. What are people saying?
I've been in the financial business myself about 24 years. Very much enjoy the software program for the charts.
I love the new MV charts on Phil's software, and I'm making profits using them.
Complete guidance and professional education for investors who want to succeed in the stock market.
I love your new MV1, making lots of profits.
I love the chart. You know, I'm limited with time. Real good as far as just looking at whatever ticker tells me right away.
I've always enjoyed Phil's straightforwardness and talk about what's really going on.
The new MV1 and MV2 charting software. I particularly like the pre- and post-market candlesticks.
You guys have always been great on the service side. I can't say enough about the service side.
Don't wait. Sign up for Phil's Gang today. Give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Welcome back. This segment of the Phil's Gang Show is brought to you by the MV Stock Charts. For more information, go to philsgang.com.
At around 7 p.m. local time in Afghanistan last night, the United States military used a GBU-43 weapon in Afghanistan. The GBU-43 is a large, powerful, and accurately delivered weapon. We targeted a system of tunnels and caves that ISIS fighters used to move around freely.
Here you have it. A $17 million bomb. It cost us $17 million to bomb them. It would have been better off to call them, show them the size of the bomb, and say, give us $20 million, we won't bomb you. That way we can pick up some money and build our bridges and our roads. That would have been smarter, I think. The GBU-43 bomb, nicknamed Mother of All Bombs. Sounds cool. Great. Most likely they didn't hit anybody in these tunnels. You know about tunnels, the way they build tunnels underneath the ground. The tunnels just don't go straight back. They build them on angles. Very hard to get them with a bomb. But there we go, the war machine. The war machine. Got to keep the old war machine going. Unbelievable. Oh, my God. Welcome back to Phil's Gang. What a week this has been. A great week for gold. But, boy, for the economy, it's been pretty bad. This has not been a good week at all. I mean, things are really getting worse and worse. And the stock market, we're starting to see less and less where they're buying on the pullback. Yeah, that's stopping it. People are starting to figure it out. They're starting to figure out what's going on. Now, if you want to really make money in the stock market, there's always these hot stocks. Forget about these hot stocks. Forget about Barron's. Forget about the Journal. Forget about all these magazines, and they tell you all the different stocks you should be buying and why you should be buying them. That's all old news. Anytime that they write up, or you hear on CNBC, or you listen to Fox Bulls and Bears on Saturday, and they give you some stock, that's old. The institution buyer has already bought, they already knew about it. The guys who run T. Rowe Price already knew. The guys at Bank of New York Mellon, they know about it. They already bought it. They're getting out by the time you buy it. No, that's not how it works. But you got to start learning to take the other side of the investment. Most people never make money when the stock market goes down. They keep getting hit. They keep losing money all the way down. They keep calling their broker, their planners, and say, what should I do? What should I do? And what do they tell you? Hang in, hang in. which is ridiculous. They should be telling you, switch your position and sell short. Everyone thinks selling short is this complicated deal. It isn't. There's a little button on my chart. It says sell, hit it, sell short. That's it. Give you an example. IBM. IBM was at $182. And that was around beginning of March 1st. My gang members, that's one of the 5 stocks we trade every day all year long. We stay with 5 stocks, just these 5 stocks. We have other stocks, but these are our 5 main stocks we stay with all year. Because why? Because when you have 5 stocks, you really have 10, because you're going to make money on the downside when they start going down. But having 5 stocks, you know these stocks so well, you know the pattern so well, that you get into a rhythm with them. That's how you make money consistently. You know that 80% of the people who buy stocks, single stocks, individual stocks, never make any money in the stock market. Even though the stock market goes up 73% of the time, because they don't know what they're doing. When you buy a stock, you want to buy a stock when nobody else wants it. You want to buy a stock after it's been beaten down. And then you got to know, okay, right before that stock starts to drop, it's the biggest opportunity. You can see it. You can see, like, IBM was going up, and all of a sudden the money starts coming out. So if I take $182 down to $170, that's probably about, I don't know, maybe about an 18% gain. Maybe a little less than that. But what a beautiful thing to know that you can make money for the first time as stocks go down. And IBM went down. So, I mean, that's pretty nice money, 180 to 170. That's a good drop. So it's about a 6% drop. What's wrong with getting a 6% return on the way down? So that'd be from March 1st to today, which is March 26th. Have you ever got a 6% return in that many days? No. That's great. But remember, we also got the upside of IBM. That's the key, got the upside of IBM. So when IBM, the institution, started to buy at $148, and then they got out at about $174 because it turned red again, that's a 17% gain on the way up. So you only need 5 stocks. That's it. It's not complicated. And you don't have to know everything about the stock. You don't have to, matter of fact, the less you know about the stock, the more money you're going to make. You don't need to know about the PE ratio of a stock or the price of sales or price to book or profit margin. You don't need any of that. And the best thing really is to buy the exchange traded fund. We have a group of stocks, a big basket of stocks like the spiders or industrial stocks or healthcare stocks or retail stocks like XRT, retail stocks. That's a great exchange traded fund. The fees are so low. I just saw another lawsuit, 401k. Big lawsuit going on. Why? Over fees. People are starting to get it now. See, from 1970s when these things were introduced to 2008, the retirees weren't retired. They didn't know they were getting screwed. But when the first retirees started retiring in 2008, 2009, all of a sudden they started to figure out what's going on. Now, when we're at 2016, 2017, now they get it. Hey, we'll be right back. 28 past the hour here on Phil's Gang. Join my gang.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. Phil's Gang offers one of the best collections of charts available on the internet. We built the Max Best software to have the best features, and so far, the early reviews have been great. So don't just be an investor, be a Max Investor with Phil's Gang Max Investor 1000 stock charts. For more information, simply go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy of Phil's Gang. I got a great opportunity for those people who are disgusted with the market, who don't have time to learn. What you do is follow me in the exchange-traded fund that I'm invested in. Every day you go to my site and you can see exactly what I am doing with my investment, and you can mimic me. Nobody else dares do that. Join the gang, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. philsgang.com. What are people saying?
Hi, this is Ron from Washington State, and I subscribe to the Phil's Gang MV2, and I just wanted to let Phil know that right after the election, I made a $7,000 profit using the MV2 on Wells Fargo stock.
Complete guidance and professional education for investors who want to succeed in the stock market.
I've been in the financial business myself about 24 years and very much enjoy the software program for the charts.
I've been a long-time Phil's subscriber, and I just want to recommend it to anybody out there. I think it's a wonderful tool and works very, very well.
Don't wait. For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
If you're looking to make extra income, if you're looking to pay off bills and plan for your retirement, then check out philsgang.com. Philsgang.com is an online educational service that informs you, coaches you, and guides you on how to invest in the stock market. Get daily advice to buy stocks, short stocks, and learn when to get out of your positions. Philsgang.com provides daily webinars, alerts, educational tutorials, and all material is archived. For more information, go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. St. Jude takes care of absolutely everything. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge.
St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude is uniquely positioned to advance the cures of pediatric cancer, I think better than any other institution in the world. The contributions make a big difference.
Donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Recognized as an Axiom Business Award winner, the highly acclaimed Walter's Way book, authored by legendary businessman Walter Scheer, is now available in digital and audio formats at the philsgang.com Bud Z store. Enjoy the stories of a relief kid who survived TB, corporate betrayal, bankruptcy, and still made millions and touched the lives of billions. Don't wait. Pick up the Walter's Way book in hardcover, digital, and in audio format at philsgang.com. To many, the stock market is shrouded in mystery. When do I buy? What is the stop loss? Should I invest on earnings? Is it time to sell? At Phil's Gang, we want to clear the investing fog for you. We want to make you an educated, confident investor and ultimately a profitable investor. For over 15 years, Phil Grandy and the Phil's Gang team have been dedicated to teaching, guiding, and answering your investment questions. And with our new Phil's Gang website and customer support messaging system, we are available when you need us to answer your questions. philsgang.com can be accessed from your home, office, or any location where internet is available. Plus, you never miss a beat because all material is archived. From beginner to seasoned investor, Phil Grandy has been helping thousands of people learn about the stock market and producing smart investing strategies. Whether you're preparing for retirement or looking to secure your financial future, learn, invest, and profit with Phil's Gang. That's philsgang.com. For more information, call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. Welcome back. This segment of the Phil's Gang Show is brought to you by the MV Stock Charts. For more information, go to philsgang.com.
And and welcome back to Phil's Gang. If you want me to take a look at your stock, I'll put it up on my MV2. You can call 877-745-7445. That's 855-745-7445. Remember St. Jude, if I help you and you make some money. Remember St. Jude, Partner in Hope. Send them $25 a month. Remember, their operating cost at St. Jude is $2.2 million every day. Every day. They got to make that $2.2 million. And it's donations like yours that makes it work. And there's no better place than St. Jude for treatment, especially the childhood cancer. The survival rate, has increased over the years from 20% to 80%. I know. Okay? I know. Believe me. And it's there's nothing like St. Jude. So I hope I can reach out to you and I can get you introduced back to the stock market. Stop worrying about all this nonsense. You got to go get a broker. You got to go get a planner. Look, do all that if you. I'm just giving you an alternative where you can create wealth, put enough money aside for retirement, at least a little bit. And you can take, and again, on control. You want to be in control. You want to be in control. And it's not hard. It isn't. Especially if you're going to join my gang for $39.95, and then you follow me in the exchange-traded funds that I'm in. It works. You remember, I gave you an exchange-traded fund, UNG. That was an oil and gas fund. And I said, it just started to turn green. Institutions are buying it. Why don't you follow me? And we had gang members sign up. They followed me. And within a few weeks, it was about a 7 to 8% return. Some made even more. Some made 10% return. That was pretty nice. But here's the key. The key is, I'm in it. You watch me mimic what I do, and then when I say take profits, you take them. Just do what I do. Nobody else offers that. Nobody offers that. Johnson & Johnson is one of our favorite stocks. J&J. Nothing better than this stock, Johnson & Johnson. Here's a great example. Back in January, Johnson & Johnson was around $110. And it started to turn green. Institutions came in. You can see the institutional money come in. You haven't got to know anything else about Johnson & Johnson. You have to know what they're making. All this garbage you hear on these financial shows. They tell you everything about the company. You don't need to know anything about the company. All you need to know is the smart guys, are they buying it or aren't they? But the key is to make sure you're getting out when they get out. Nobody's ever told you to get out. They don't want you to get out. That's why they don't tell you. Because they make money on the size of the account, on the size of the investment. In other words, when they have a fund, they get paid 30, 40, 50% of the fund on the size of it. They send brokers and planners out to claw in money. And then as the claw, first it's $1 million and $10 million and $100 million, they get paid 40, 50% of that. That's why they never tell you to sell it. They want you to stay in. You got to learn not only to get out, but ride it down the other side. You can do that with me. For the first time, somebody's letting you do it with them. That's what I'm offering. Try it for a month. It works. So Johnson & Johnson, give you an example. Johnson & Johnson went up 15%. Went up 15%. Now think about this. January 24th, it started to turn green. And then all of a sudden it started to turn red on March 16th. So that means we had a 15% gain. Now, I'm not saying every gang member got the whole 15%. Maybe some got 5, maybe some got 10, maybe some got 12. Depends where they want to get in. That's up to them. But the real important part is not where they get in, whether they made 5% or 15% or 8% returns, that they all got out at the same time as soon as they saw the institutions pulling their money out, and it was red. And now it's starting to drop. It's starting down 3%. Isn't that nice to know that you can get in the stock, go to bed at night, not worry about a surprise of some crash is going to happen to you? that you can see in advance that institutions are pulling the money out? That's technology today. If you don't think that we can't follow the big institutions, their money, are you kidding? Of course we can. And that's the stock chart that I designed. And this is perfect for people who are busy. Now, again, the best thing for you is to stay with the exchange-traded fund, like the spiders. What a wonderful, the spiders. Think of the stocks. You got Apple, Microsoft, Exxon, GE, Johnson & Johnson, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Facebook, Amazon. What a group of stocks you have. All you have to do is follow me. When I see the institutions buying it, I will put my money in, and you'll know. I'll say, here, I'm going to put my money in, and you just mimic me. And when it's time to get out, we'll get out. But the most important thing, these markets are going to come down. The dot-coms went up, and didn't the dot-coms crash? Didn't the housing and financial in 2008 crash? Why do you think this, which is the mother lode of all markets, what they call the QE market, you don't think this market, after going up 230%, and the only reason it went up 230% was not because companies were making money, it was because of cheating, because of quantitative easing, because the Federal Reserve printed $85 billion every day to go out and buy treasuries to force the big institutions and the big countries like China out of the bond market into the stock market. So stocks went up. Then they printed another $3.3 trillion, the Federal Reserve, the 150 richest people. And they gave the money to the banks and said, go in and buy your own bank stocks and other stocks. Push the market up again. They printed another $6 trillion. Gave it to companies to start buying your own stocks. Imagine that. The Federal Reserve, owned by 400 rich people, but there's about 148 that really control the Federal Reserve. Can you imagine? They say, I'm going to print $6.6 trillion. I'm going to give it to you CEOs free of charge, interest-free, and go start buying your own stock back so that the CEOs can get so incredibly rich. 600 CEOs are now making 300 times of the worker. Isn't that amazing? But here's the key. When this market starts to break down, you want to ride it all the way back down the other side. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to know anything about the stock market. Just follow me, because I will be in it. All right. Look, we've had a crazy week this week. Crazy week. And what really got me this week, and I said this yesterday, I was very upset because, and I love Donald Trump. I think he's great. I think we're really glad we have a great president. He's a businessman, but I don't always agree with what he did or what he does. And we brought those parasites in to help him decide what to do with Dodd-Frank bill, which regulations to keep, which regulations to get rid of. We're talking about the parasites, the same parasites that cost you, the American people, the middle class, $42 trillion was wiped out of net worth. It's the same people that he brought in to ask for advice on the Dodd-Frank bill. The same people cost 8 million jobs. The same people cost 12 million people lose their homes. It's the same people that was given over $12 million or $12 trillion in TARP money to go and buy, to go and prop up the banks. And Trump brings these criminals in. Are you kidding? Something's got to be done. He's got to, when Holder was gone, if you want to make America great again, you've got to prove that you're going to take these executives, these banksters, and you're going to put them in jail. That's how you're going to make America great again. Just like with the savings and loans. When that savings and loan scandal hit, those guys went to jail. People felt good. They had confidence in their system. They had confidence in the banking when they went to jail. We got to get back to that. He's got to make that happen. Join my gang, 877-600-GANG. Call now. They're waiting for your call.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. philsgang.com. What are people saying?
Hi, this is Ron from Washington State, and I subscribe to the Phil's Gang MV2, and I just wanted to let Phil know that right after the election, I made a $7,000 profit using the MV2 on Wells Fargo stock.
Complete guidance and professional education for investors who want to succeed in the stock market.
I've been in the financial business myself about 24 years and very much enjoy the software program for the charts.
I've been a long-time Phil subscriber, and I just want to recommend it to anybody out there. I think it's a wonderful tool and works very, very well.
Don't wait. For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy of Phil's Gang. I got a great opportunity for those people who are disgusted with the market, who don't have time to learn. What you do is follow me in the exchange-traded fund that I'm invested in. Every day you go to my site and you can see exactly what I am doing with my investment, and you can mimic me. Nobody else dares do that. Join the gang, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. We're offering the most powerful stock charts available on the market. The Max Best 1000 charts. Now, the difference between these charts and all the other charts is this follows the money. Yes, it gives you a buy-sell signal. I know you're going to say, well, they all do. No, not true. The difference with the Max Best is they follow the important money. The hedge funds, the biggest banks, the 401ks, the pension fund managers. That's the big difference. They're not following the emotion. That's what most charts do. They follow the money. That's what MaxVest does, follows the money. Check it out. Join my gang, philsgang.com. Oh, and the chart is low as $19.95 a month. For more information, just go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-GANG. We will see you on the charts.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264.
To be able to just get my son to St. Jude and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Phil Grandy is a career businessman who has also been an entrepreneur all his life. He has used his business skills to take companies on the abyss of bankruptcy and bringing them back to profitability. Phil has been honored by Inc. magazine for the 500 fastest growing privately held companies and has been recognized with the prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year award. From the real estate to gas and oil industries to the stock market, Phil Grandy has mastered his line of business from start to finish. And with a passion and desire to make you a profitable investor, only Phil teaches you and guides you to make informed, unemotional investment decisions. And you'll gain the knowledge of what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. If you want to learn from the best and strengthen your ability to invest, then turn to Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. Simply call Phil's Gang at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Or go to philsgang.com. Welcome back. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Why not check out philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
Recognized as an Axiom Business Award winner, the highly acclaimed Walter's Way book, authored by legendary businessman Walter Scheer, is now available in digital and audio formats at the philsgang.com Bud Z store. Enjoy the stories of a relief kid who survived TB, corporate betrayal, bankruptcy, and still made millions and touched the lives of billions. Don't wait. Pick up the Walter's Way book in hardcover, digital, and in audio format at philsgang.com.
And that's Walter's Way. What a great book. What a great man. Go to my site, philsgang.com. Pick it up. You'll enjoy this book. You really will. And all the proceeds go to St. Jude. This guy is a man's man. He's 93, and he still works every day, and he's still chairman of the largest independent oil and gas companies in Texas. So quite a guy, quite a story. So please go to my site, philsgang.com. Remember, the money will go to St. Jude. Okay, I don't want to run out. I'm running out of time here. The market's down 90 points. Most people, when they hear the market's down 90 points, they panic. Not us, because we know when it's going down in advance by just looking at our chart. Here's what's interesting, and this is what really gets me grumpy, and this is why you hate the stock market and why you get in it and then you get out and you never come back. Here's why. Listen to this.
I'd like your opinion of the steels. With the price of steel so strong and Trump, with the infrastructure, it's going to be used for bridges, rails, pipelines, etc. It seems to me that earnings are going to be great for years to come.
People now think that in order to be able to deal with the Chinese, to get rid of the North Korean government, we have to sacrifice our steel companies. That's why I say only own Nucor.
Isn't it amazing? This poor sap really believes that earnings are going to be great for years to come because we're building bridges and roads and this and that, and we need steel. He really believes that. Then he goes to a schmuck like Kramer and asks his advice. And Kramer goes on about, you heard him. Everything that this gentleman, the reasons he said why he wanted to buy it, makes no difference. It's not why you buy a stock. You don't buy a stock because you may build bridges and roads and you need steel and you're going to have great earnings. That's not why you buy a stock. And Kramer talks about, we're going to have problems with North Korea now and, China, this is the only stock you should buy. Well, guess what? This poor sap right now is losing money. Because if he was with me and he was a gang member and he was using my chart that I designed, it showed that the institutions started to pull their money out of this stock. So you didn't hear Kramer say, you better get out of the stock. The institutions are pulling their money out. They started to pull their money out on March 22nd at around $63. Today it's $57. Still going down. See, you don't buy stocks because of their earnings or what they do. You buy stocks because the big boys are buying these stocks. The big guys, the institutions, the Vanguard, the JP Morgan, Dodge and Cox, Northern Trust, Franklin Resources. They have staffs and staffs and staffs of people that they study these stocks. They paid them, all bright guys come out of Harvard and all these other schools, and they have MBAs, and this is what they do. They just only follow the money, and that's when they pull the trigger. They're taking their money out. Everybody would think, oh boy, this is the time to buy steel. No, it's not. You don't buy stocks because of what they do. A stock has nothing to do with the company. Just like the stock market has nothing to do with the economy. We don't buy economies when we buy stocks. So why does people think a stock has something to do with the economy? The stock market reflects the economy. It doesn't. So here you got NUE dropped from $62 down to $57. And he's telling him to get in. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. This stock has dropped 8%. Now think about this. All you had to do, if you were with me, you would have made an 8% return. Just by watching it turn around. Let's say you got in late. You made 5%. Say you made what's wrong with a 5% return? 5% return once a month for 12 months is a 72% return. Now, nobody's going to make that kind of money, but my point is you just need every month to make sure you have more winners than losers. You keep your losers real tight. Make sure you don't lose a lot of money. You keep it real tight. Keep your losses real small. Get out of them quickly. And on 5 transactions, you can lose on 3 as long as you're managing it well. And all you're really doing is you're managing your money. See, people think they're managing a stock. They're investing in stock. No, you're managing your money, and you want to make sure that you're not giving the money to the bad guys. When you enter a stock, the most vulnerable place where you go into a stock is right in the very beginning. That's where you're most vulnerable. That's where almost 80% of people lose their money, when they execute. And they all execute wrong. They buy at the wrong time. They don't have a clue. If you're buying a stock and you don't have a clue if the institutions are putting money in or pulling money out, why would you buy? Does that make any sense? Does it make any sense to buy a stock without knowing if money is going in? How do you know? You don't. People don't. But they buy because they think their broker, planner, somebody on CNBC, or I love these guys every weekend, Bulls and Bears. I love them.
I think infrastructure has Home Depot up 20% in a year. Spring break is upon us. It means fast food restaurants are going to surge. McDonald's up 20%. Vodafone is a way to play with. I think it's up 20%.
You think they coach them? Say, hey, everything's up 20%. Get everybody happy. Up 20%. They all go buy stocks. You don't care if a stock is up or down. You got that freedom. All you want to do is follow the money. So follow me, and especially in my exchange-traded funds where there are baskets of stock where you can follow me every day. It's so easy, and you can sleep at night. You know, I hope that, and let me give you the number, 855-745-7445. I really hope you do sign up. I really hope you start getting into it, because I want you for the first time to make money when the market goes down. You never made money in any market crash, have you? This is the first time, and you'll be following me. The first time that you've ever made money in a market that's going down. Wouldn't that be nice? You don't have to be a genius to do that. If you know what red looks like, and you're following me. When I say, let's get in, we get in. When I say, let's get out, we get out. When I say, run like hell, we run like hell. On 5 transactions, we can still lose on 3 and still make our budget and still make money every quarter. That's right. On 3 losses, on 5 transactions. Why? Because we manage our losses very tight. So here's the number, 877-600-GANG. I hope you do this so your kids start learning. And we should be teaching our kids in school about stocks. About stocks. First, why don't we teach them how to balance a checkbook? First of all, why don't we teach them in school how to say hello on the telephone, how to answer a phone properly, how to balance a checkbook? If every kid in school understood the stock market, that all it is money going in and money going out, and with today's technology and the algorithms, you can follow that money. It's so simple. And better yet, you can follow somebody. No, I don't know if anybody ever offered you that. Has anybody ever offered you, look, I'm going to buy the industrials and I'm going to short them so you can follow me. Or I'm going to buy the spiders. You can follow me. Or I'm going to buy the gold mining stocks in a basket. You can follow me every day and copy what I do every day. Has anybody offered you that? Of course. They wouldn't dare offer you that. Of course not. They're too scared to. Before I run out of time, you know, yesterday we were talking about how grumpy I was over the fact that President Trump brought in all those gangsters. You know, I'm going to talk about next week how he's got to start putting these gangsters to jail. He's got to start no more holding the corporation accountable for these crimes. That's where we're at. Do you realize that? No longer they hold the banker or the white-collar crime, the individual, responsible. It's always the corporate. We're going to talk about that next week and talk about how to make money when the market goes down. Have a great Easter. Call right now, 877-600-GANG. They're waiting for your call.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grandy, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Hey gang, be sure to